Hello everyone and welcome once again to my channel. It's your boy Luis Portelles, and for today's video we are going to be talking about the 12-year streak of the Philippines at Miss Universe. As you guys know, Miss Universe Philippines is already ongoing this year, and I decided that before we dig deeper into getting to know some of the candidates of this year, it will be a nice thing to look back at that historical moment where the Philippines managed to place at Miss Universe for 12 years in a row. Unfortunately, that streak was broken this year, but that's okay because this is the beginning of something new, new opportunities, new milestones, and we should always look at it from a positive perspective. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and find some sort of value in it. If you do, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and be part of the conversation in the comment section down below. I will see you right after the intro with my full reaction and comments.
Be strong.
What is one big
Ooh,
mistake
we are starting with
that
Venus.
happened? What did you do to make it right?
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful question. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Las Vegas. You know what, sir, in my 22 years of existence, I can say that there is nothing major problem that I have done in my life, because I am very confident with my family, with the love that they are giving to me. So thank you so much that I am here. Thank you so much.
Okay, so when it comes to Venus Rush, we have to acknowledge she is one of the iconic beauty queens that represented the Philippines at Miss Universe. Even up until this day, I feel like she is still so relevant, and her little catchphrase of major has gone down in history. She actually just launched a podcast recently which is called Major with Venus Rush. So because she competed in 2010, she's actually one of the queens that I got to know a little bit later as I was, becoming more of a pageant fan. I must admit that after getting to know her a little bit, she's one of the girls that I really appreciate. I loved her interview with Tony Gonzaga. I love her new podcast. I love her story, and most importantly, I love what she stands for. The way that she represented Filipino women so fairly, especially being a morena, which is something that nowadays is starting to become a little bit rare in pageantry, especially in the Philippines. And not to even mention that she's the one who started the entire streak for the country. So let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Venus, and what are the things that come to mind when you think of her?
Shamcey Supsup, 25 Philippines!
Would you?
I love Shamcey's rhythm. Listen to that. Wait lang.
Shamcey Supsup, 25 Philippines!
Shamcey Supsup 25 Philippines. She got that rhythm. I don't know if maybe because this pageant was in Brazil, but she definitely got the Brazil vibes.
Shamcey Supsup, 25 Philippines!
Would you change your religious beliefs to marry the person you loved? Why or why not?
If I had to change my religious beliefs, I would not marry the person that I love. Because the first person that I love is God, who created me. And I have my faith, my principles, and this is what makes me who I am. And if that person loves me, should love my God too. Thank you. Muito obrigada, Brazil.
Wow. Okay, Shamcey came here with a very, I would say, like, controversial question if we look back at it, especially nowadays, right? But I will say, let's start with the performance. When you look at the performance wearing swimsuit and then with the evening gown, radically different. Swimsuit was so colorful. She had the yellow, the green, and all of that going on. And when it comes to the evening gown, she went with something very formal, very traditional. I mean, a silver gown. It doesn't get more pageant friendly than that. Now, her answer is something that I feel like nowadays in most countries of the world, people will tend to disagree. However, because I am currently in the Philippines and I understand, the values of this country and the beliefs, that religion is so important here in the Philippines. So I can see where she's coming from and how her answer represents the overall, at least I should say, the vast majority mentality of Filipinos. So to say that they wouldn't compromise religion for love and putting the love for God first rather than loving another human being, that might request that you change your religion, I think that Not only she was answering something that was true to herself, but also she knew that would represent the overall feeling of the country that she was represented. When you go there, you are not just Shamcey. You have a sash across your chest that says Philippines. Of course, she is now the national director for Miss Universe Philippines here in the country, so she has found ways to continue that legacy and continue empowering and inspiring women from her country.
Janine Tugonon, 23, Philippines!
Do you believe that speaking English should be a prerequisite to being Miss Universe? Why or why not?
For me, being Miss Universe is not just about knowing how to speak a specific language. It's being able to influence and inspire other people. So whatever language you have, as long as your heart is to serve and you have a strong mind to show to people, then you can be Miss Universe. Thank you.
Wow, that was such a great answer. Once again, let's start with the performance. Looking back at the swimsuit as well as the evening gown. Previously, I was telling you for Shamcey that everything was radically different. Well, here for Janine's year, it's definitely not the case. As you can see, all of the shades of colors are, cold colors, blues, whites, and silvers. For Janine's answer is something that up until this day we still discuss in pageantry. How important is English if you want to succeed at an international pageant? I personally really agree with her because how much you manage your English, it really depends on what you want to achieve with the platform. Of course, if you want to be a spokesperson and you want to reach as many people as possible, maybe having English communication skills will be very, very handy. But at the same time, there are many other ways that you can communicate with the people, such as, actions, such as being an advocate for different causes, such as, working with different organizations. Not everything has to be, verbal communications. I definitely agree with her. And I also know that her year was a little bit controversial because a lot of you guys actually asked me to react to the Miss Universe 2012 finals moment. It seems like a lot of people feel like Janine should have been the winner, but maybe we'll get into that for another video. Let me know if you want to watch that.
Ariella Arida, the
What can be done about the lack of jobs for young people starting their careers around the world?
As previous Rabiya, for the people who have lack of jobs, I do believe that we people should invest in education, and that is my primary advocacy, because if we all know that if every one of us is educated and well aware of what we are doing, we could land into jobs and we could land our good careers in the future. So education is primary source and it's a ticket for a better future. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about Ariella here for a moment. Honestly, she is probably the Miss Universe Philippines representative that I know the least. I don't think that, I don't hear so much about her anymore in pageantry. I follow some of the pages on social media, Facebook, and all of these groups, but her name doesn't come up as often. So for someone like me who became a pageant fan recently, I haven't been exposed to her performance or to her legacy just as much. Now, what I'm going to say when I look back at the performance is that I don't think that it aged as well as maybe some of the other contestants. When I look at, for example, the swimsuit presentation, the red swimsuit, and then the fur, I don't know, it doesn't strike me as something that, let's say, like aged very, very gracefully. The evening gown, it's a rather simple design, and it's a yellow gown with stones. There are certain scenarios, I don't know, it's just not the first thing that comes to mind when I think of a gown, yellow. Unless you know how to do it properly, yellow is not my go-to color. But the most important part for me is the Q&A segment. I see that she was trying to talk about education and how to get jobs and, how education can be a solution for those people who are struggling with the employment market. However, I don't think that the execution was so clear. I was actually struggling to, get a hold of the message and get the substance of it, because at the same time, they're showing so many different images. So you are bombarded with a lot. And if the message is not clear, it's hard to get it completely. At the end of the day, she still managed to obtain a placement, so that means that amongst all of the other ladies, the judges and the people of the organization saw something special in her. It's just when I compare it to maybe other of the contestants that also represented the Philippines, this is not necessarily the highlight of the 12-year streak for me.
Mary Jean Lastimosa, Philippines.
Ooh, Mary Jane is iconic.
Lastimosa, Miss
You already know.
I was studying in Manila when my
parents decided to migrate to Saudi Arabia because my dad's Arabian and my mom's Filipina. And because my mom has bigger dreams, but she wanted us to finish our studies, one of my uncles decided to just take care of us. That's where we grew up with him.
So this is my family, my uncle.
He wasn't able to survive cancer. I think now he's in a better seat watching me, and he's guiding me as my angel. I'm dedicating this competition for him.
Let's talk about MJ, of course, one of the fan favorites up until this day. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of MJ is personality. She is so playful on stage, and of course she also has the beauty to back it up. So she is overall a really strong queen. If you look at her swimsuit presentation, her body was so fit, so on point. This woman must have been working out for months before the competition because there is really not one single flaw. I know that not everyone was on board with the evening gown that she showcased during the finals, especially because it's giving a little bit of bridal, and I know that that's kind of like a sin in the pageant world. But anyways, I think that she still rocked the gown to the best of her ability. And my only down point here is that they actually didn't show her iconic national costume, if you know what I'm talking about. Up until this day, I feel like, it makes her relevant, and it comes back every single year, and it gets inserted into so many different scenarios. Let me know, how do you feel about her in the comment section? For me personally, she's one of my favorites.
Pia Wurtzbach, Philippines.
Why should you be the next Miss Universe?
To be a Miss Universe is both an honor and a responsibility. If I were to be Miss Universe, I will use my voice to influence the youth, and I would raise awareness to certain causes like HIV awareness that is timely and relevant to my country, which is the Philippines. I want to show the world, the universe rather, that I am confidently beautiful with a heart. Thank you.
Alright, let's talk about Pia Wurtzbach, one of the most iconic queens to ever grace the stage of Miss Universe, and of course, rightfully so, one of the winners of the entire pageant as well. When I look back at Pia's performance, the first thing that comes to mind is that she is able to give me the perfect balance of playfulness, fierceness, and warmth. If you look at the swimsuit presentation, she definitely had all of the sexiness going on with all the right bounce in all of the right places, if you know what I'm talking about. The evening gown segment, of course, she looked so regal, looked like an absolute queen, and even the hairstyle was giving me a little bit of like Eva Peron vibes, if you get the reference. But still, with her facial expressions and the way that she was handling on stage, she will still give me those little glimpses of fierceness and being very empowered. Now, of course, we know everything that went down during the coronation night, which in my opinion is a blessing in disguise, because it instantly made Pia the most recognizable Miss Universe winner of all time. Up until this day, I'm sure that right on the spot, it was not an easy thing for her to deal with, but over time, I think that it has been beneficial for her career, her journey, and the things that she has managed to accomplish nowadays. Let me know in the comment section, what was your reaction when all of this went down and Pia was called as the winner at Miss Universe?
Rabiya Mateo, Maxine Medina, Philippines.
What is the most significant change you've seen in the world in the last 10 years?
Ano ang pinakamakabuluhang naganap na pangyayaring nakita mo sa mundo sa loob ng 10 taon?
In the last 10 years of being here in the world, is that I saw all the people bringing in one event like this in Miss Universe. And it's something big to us that we are one. As one nation, we are all together. Thank you. Salamat po.
Alright, let's talk about Miss Maxine Medina. Of course, she did manage to obtain a placement for the Philippines. However, I'm going to say when I look back at her full performance, this was definitely not the strongest of the batch in my opinion. Okay, in terms of the looks, in terms of the performance on stage, everything was okay. Like, she was very consistent, but especially when I compare the Q&A segment to other contestants, I think that it was a little bit underwhelming when I compare it to other Philippines candidates, especially. I think that she had an idea of what she wanted to say, but maybe the message was lost in translation or with the execution. You never know. There are so many things that can happen on stage. The nerves, pressure, something goes wrong during the preparation or during the event and that takes you out of your mind. It's really, really challenging. So I think that this answer is one of those examples of when you try to say a lot but end up saying not too much. But once again, similar to the example of Ariella, I think that she did something right during the pageant to the point that the judges and the people of the organization saw something worthy in her to make her obtain a placement. So let me know how you guys feel about Maxine's performance. I'm kind of curious, especially because she had the very difficult task of following up the footsteps of Pia Wurtzbach.
The ocean has a calming effect on me. Just being out in the water, you just basically have to surrender yourself to the ocean. When you catch your first wave, you just feel so victorious. Ever since I was a kid, we've always lived close to a beach. We were always wakeboarding, scuba diving. That's something that's just been embedded in me. Recently, I opened my own coffee shop on Siargao Island in the Philippines, and I'm so proud. I feel like I've really grown into a new woman since starting this business, and hopefully that inspires people to have a goal and work towards that goal.
Now it's time for Rachel Peters. How many of you remember her, and what are the things that come to mind when you watch her full performance? For me personally, I think that she's another one of the queens that I am not super familiar with what she did. She doesn't come up as often when it comes to, the pageant fans and those conversations that we usually have. And one of the criticisms that I usually tend to hear is that her advocacy was not as elaborate or as profound as maybe some of the other contestants that we are witnessing during this list. I'm going to say she seems to have a lot of charisma, definitely a beautiful girl, and I am quite happy with the performance that she put on stage. So let me know, what is your opinion when it comes to Rachel? Since sometimes I hear positive, sometimes I hear negative, I wonder how most of you guys feel about her. But for me, in terms of performance, everything seemed to be on point. So that's all I gotta say. Here she comes.
What is the most important lesson you've learned in your life, and how would you apply it to your time as Miss Universe?
Wow, girl. She ate that stage.
In the slums of Tondo, Manila, and the life there is it's poor and it's very sad. And I've always taught myself to look for the beauty in it, to look in the beauty in the faces of the children, and to be grateful. And I would bring this aspect as a Miss Universe to see situations with a silver lining and to assess where I could give something, where I could provide something as a spokesperson. And this, I think, if I could teach also people to be grateful, we could have an amazing world where negativity could not grow and foster, and children would have a smile on their face. Thank you.
Wow.
Celebrate!
I have watched Catriona's full performance at Miss Universe hundreds of times at this point, and I even have reaction videos to her full performance here, as well as for Pia. So if you guys want to watch those videos, go and check them out. But I mean, there's truly no way to describe Catriona's full performance other than effortless. It was perfect from beginning to end in every single segment of the competition. The swimsuit was exciting, was so effortless. She seemed to have fun and was showing all of her sexiness. For the evening gown, it was so elegant, so regal. You feel that she was truly embodying the dress with her lava walk. And finally, for the Q&A, I mean, Catriona is still considered up until this day a reference when it comes to communication skills and how to deliver a message on stage. So it was only fair for her to win the crown. Now, I do have a question for you guys, because of course Catriona was such a clear winner this year. Did you guys think that she will be able to bring back the crown to the Philippines? Because Pia had just won the pageant a few years before, so there was not a lot of time between winners from the Philippines, so maybe Some people might have thought that it will be a challenge, maybe it's gonna be hard to bring it back, but she still managed to do it. So how did you feel back then while Catriona was competing? I want to know.
I hear you have 5 names. Why so many?
Well, see, my mom named me Gazini, Christiana, Jordi, Ganados, and 3 of those is my first name. So Gazini, which means Gazan, which is from my dad's name. Christiana, because I was actually born after Christmas, so I'm December 26th. So what you guys don't know is that this is a great opportunity for me to shout out to all my friends and family who gives me one gift on Christmas and on my birthday. So, so guys, Steve, I only want one gift this Christmas and my birthday. And I think you already know about that.
Gazini is the last contestant from this batch that I actually did not get to witness in person because I was not yet a pageant fan. She is also the last representative from the Philippines that was elected through the Binibining Pilipinas pageant. And all I can say is that she did such an incredible job. I mean, look at Gazini. Her face and her body are nothing less than immaculate. Her personality really shines through. I love how playful she is. Even look at Steve's face, okay? This man is having fun with her. And I really love how conversational everything is. Now, in terms of performance, I think that the performance itself was very ambitious. She definitely nailed it during the swimsuit presentation. I know that people have mixed feelings when it comes to the evening gown because they said it was too structured, too tight, too heavy. She couldn't move freely. But still, when you look at the evening gown as a fashion garment, it is still very elaborate, very beautiful. And of course, the national costume, in my opinion, is one of the best ones of all time. Just the amount of work that went into that piece and the statement that it was able to make. Even up until this day, if I look on Google for Miss Universe national costumes, Gazini's national costume is one of the first things that comes up. So how do you feel when you look back at this Cebuana's full performance?
Rabiya Mateo, Philippines. This is Rabiya Mateo, all the way from the Philippines. I really had my humble beginnings, and education had transformed my life. Now I am a teacher, and I hope that my students will see the value of education the way that I saw it. I live in a country where there's a lot of poor families. And education is our social equalizer, that regardless of what background you have, what status of your family, if you educate yourself, you will be able to land a great job.
All right, let's talk about Rabiya. Of course, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that she is pretty much the reason why I got into Miss Universe and why I got overall into pageantry as well. I love this woman so much. And recently, I actually had the opportunity to meet her in person here in the Philippines. I'll plug a photo here somewhere. Anyways, when I think back of my days discovering Rabiya, discovering Miss Universe and pageantry overall, I must admit I was really in a fanboy mentality. Like I was really amazed by everything that she was doing, her performance and all those things. And sometimes that would make me see everything in color pink. But now that I have learned so much more about the pageant community, the technicalities and what it goes into preparing for a pageant, I can see that not everything was perfect during Rabiya's time. There were some things that needed a little bit more work. However, this woman always holds a very special place in my heart because, as I said, I fell in love with pageantry through her performance. I also think that Rabiya receives so much criticism up until this day, you know, when it comes to her personal life, to her performance, to the way that she represented the country. It's like sometimes people tend to look for the smallest thing just to criticize her. Overall, I'm just super happy with the person, the woman that she has become today, where she is in life at the moment. And looking back at this performance, I see nothing but growth and amazing things. So super proud of Rabiya always.
Beatrice, Luigi, Given the ever-changing COVID situation,
here we go.
What is your opinion of mandating a universal vaccine passport?
Boker Tov, Israel. Shalom. I believe that public health is everyone's responsibility, and to mandate vaccine inoculation is necessary. And if mandating vaccine passport would help us in regulating and the rollouts of vaccine and mitigate the situation of the pandemic today, then I would agree on mandating the necessary passport of vaccination. Thank you.
Finally, the last representative of the 12-year streak of the Philippines at Miss Universe, Beatrice Luigi Gomez. Of course, we all call her the unbothered queen because this woman couldn't care less about all of the criticism, public opinion, the pressure. She remained authentic to herself all throughout the competition, all throughout her preparation, and even after her Miss Universe experience. I must admit that prior to Miss Universe, I was kind of skeptical about Beatrice because sometimes I will compare her to some of the previous title holders from the Philippines, and I will think, maybe she needs more work on the communication, on the personality, on this and that. Her social media presence wasn't as strong at the moment. So there were just a lot of, questions going around. But I must admit that by the time that Beatrice had her performance at Miss Universe, of course, I was super proud. By the time that she passed on her crown to Celeste Cortesi in the Philippines, at Miss Universe Philippines, of course, I was bawling. I was crying so much during her final walk because I just felt like she grew so much as a woman, and also she remained herself at all times, to the point that she taught everyone, I don't know about everyone, but I know that she taught me a lesson, and that was that sometimes we just need to respect the candidates for who they are instead of comparing them and trying to put them in a box, or sometimes we just got to give them room for them to show us what they're capable of doing. And that's exactly what Beatrice did. She managed to crack the top 5 at Miss Universe, which is not an easy feat. And I think that, her performance speaks for itself. So, of course, super proud of Bea, and I'm super happy for all of the nice things that have happened to her ever since. So anyways, you guys, those are the candidates who are part of the 12-year streak of the Philippines at Miss Universe. I want to know who is your favorite and why, so go and let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button so that it gets recommended to more people. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this one almost every single day. And I will see you soon with more content, more videos, more vlogs, and a lot of exciting things. So, I'll see you next time. Take care, stay safe, and be kind to one another.